Hi and howdy everyone. A couple days ago I saw The Perks of Being a Wallflower and I enjoyed it. I had a fine time. I'm going to give it a 7. I wanted to give it an 8 for most of the film, but then the ending kind of got me, and overall, even though I'm still thinking about the film and I think that says something, the ending just kind of turned me off. I don't think there's any more eloquent way of to say that. It just kind of turned me off. So I'm giving it a 7. You know, I'm giving it a 7. I really admire it because it's, I mean, I talk about a singular vision. You know, artists who don't compromise and can make films, you know, their own way. And this is a prime example of such. I pretty much only had to memorize one name, and that was Stephen Chbosky. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, but Stephen Chbosky. So Stephen Chbosky, a few years ago, whatever, I don't follow the literary world, writes a novel, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Apparently it's a really good novel, popular, does well. So Stephen Chbosky, after writing the novel, then writes the screenplay. So he writes the screenplay from his own novel, and then he directs his own screenplay. So I think that that's kind of fascinating, that a person could write a novel, then make a screenplay of the novel, and then direct said screenplay of said novel. I find that, you know, almost unheard of in this day and age, you know, of Hollywood. I hope this guy does that every time. You know, I hope the guy makes 4 movies his entire career, because he starts by writing a novel and then writes a screenplay and then directs the movie. I think that would be truly unique. Even if he doesn't, you know, get a ton of films made during his lifespan, he'd still be like, I can't think of anyone else who does that. So that'd be awesome. So if he's out there, you've just got to do that. Write novels, then write the screenplay, then direct the movie, and do that all of your life. I think that would be amazing. So this is definitely a singular statement, you know, and I think that really comes across. His voice comes across. And I think whatever message you are taking from the novel when you read it, I'm sure you were getting that same message from the film. At least it definitely feels that way. Again, the only beef I have with the film is I've been trying to think of a way to describe this, but the last, I think it's even like 5 minutes of the film, they drop a bomb on you. I mean, in a way you could almost call it a twist ending. And it made me feel, well, I mean, it made me feel uncomfortable, but it definitely explained a lot more of the character. Using hindsight, you could definitely go back and see how that behavior, you know, was affected by his trauma. But I felt that I should have known more about it, because I was confused, you know, for a majority of the film about why he had, you know, such guilt, why he felt this. And even when they started to explain it, I was like, you know, okay, so that's why he's a little messed up, you know. And then they explain a little more, I was like, okay, so that's why he's a lot messed up. And then after pretty much everything's over and done with and life moves on, then we get the full story. And it's like, you know, wow, it's like, how could he even do anything? You know, how is he not, you know, in a mental asylum, you know, drooling? So it made me want to know all the information beforehand. So I don't know, it just felt like you had a bomb dropped on you. You know, he drops a bomb. But then I think that that's kind of, you know, the way friendship is you know someone for, you know, a long time, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you find out something that you never known about that person, and that may, maybe not, but it may entirely change your perspective and how you view and how you feel about this person, even though they have been your friend for, you know, however long. And I think this film is about friendship. This is a high school film, and it's basically, again, I'm saying a high school film. You can just picture whatever film you want to, and you've got that. It does stay away from cliche. I think very well. I think I think mostly because this is an autobiographical work, and if there is something cliche in the film, it's because cliches are true. And if you're going to tell the truth, then it's going to be some variation of a cliche. So I don't really count off points for that. But it is your standard high school movie. But it's a dramedy. It's not like... I would put this in the realm of Breakfast Club, and I would definitely put it alongside Breakfast Club. I mean, it's of that quality. And insight. It's of that quality and insight. You know, it's about it's a freshman. He's starting school. He has no friends. He spent time in a hospital that apparently people know of this. So he spends his life, you know, basically on the sidelines. But then he meets other outcasts who are all older. He makes friends with all seniors. But they are the, you know, outcast seniors. So he is taken in by this older group. And, you know, a drama ensues. You know, life ensues. All the performances were really good. It's really well acted. A lot of fresh faces here. I know Emma Watson. You know, she's from the Harry Potter saga. Paul Rudd was in it. He was a teacher. Who else is in it? Dylan McDermott is his dad. Joan Cusack makes a cameo appearance. Who else is in there? I'm not really recalling, and I sadly can't tell you the names of the stars of the show, and that's the young actors, the high schoolers. I want to say the main character's name was Logan. I mean, his real name was Logan something. Logan something. Anyway, he was really good. He carried the picture, and I believed him. All of the young actors are really good, and that's, you know, I like that. I like going to see a movie where I don't recognize many of the actors, if at all, and they're all really good. You know, they're all getting their chance. They're all getting their break, and I enjoy seeing that. What else can I... The soundtrack, I mean, it does, like, play to that type of indie, what was that? The Garden State? You know, the Garden State, depending on your vantage point, either, like, set the blueprint for independent film and or ruined independent film. And this is definitely in that Garden State, you know, mold. It's morose. It's got a hip indie soundtrack where it's like old music that you haven't, you know, necessarily heard of, and new bands that you haven't heard of, and everyone knows about cool music, you know, so it does like fall prey to that. It falls prey more to the cliches of independent film than it does to the cliches of high school films, which is fine. because it is very independent. As I stated, it was basically made by one person. So, I don't know. I wonder if he made the film off of all the money he made from the novel, or just how he got so much control right out of the gate. You know, this is his debut film, so it's an impressive feat, you know, no matter how you look at it. Again, really wise, really true, really heartfelt. Again, I feel that this is an autobiographical story, so there's a lot of passion in it. It feels real. All of the acting is very naturalistic. I don't really know what else to say. I don't feel like I've accurately or adequately defended my 7, just because of that ending. I just wished that. I mean, they kind of give you this Hollywood ending, and then, or should I say Hollywood like pre-ending, and then they rip your heart out. You know, so it just made me feel odd. You know, it had this happy, again, Hollywood ending, and then, like, the epilogue is this twist that changes your perspective on the whole story. And it challenged me, you know, it challenged me. So, perhaps in the future I will, you know, like it a lot more. And maybe on the second viewing, not that I'm really rushing to see this film again. Again, it was very, you know, depressing in parts. But yet, I took a lot of hope out of it. You know, I have similar troubles in my own life that, you know, mirrored the troubles of the character here. There was, you know, a lot of wisdom that I managed to take for myself, so I felt it made me feel not alone. You know, it made me feel like someone out there understood. So it did hit me on a deep level. You know, it did affect me. So maybe in the future I will, you know, give this a higher score. But right now I'm, you know, just still wrestling with it. You know, I think there's a lot of truth. And I'm sure that the novel is also full of truth, and I'm sure a lot of the best lines, the quotable lines, come from the novel. And a lot of the truth and wisdom comes from the novel, and may sink in more by reading it. And this is mostly, you know, told by Paul Rudd, who does do a good job as the, you know, guiding teacher. What is it? We accept the love we think we deserve. We accept the love we think we deserve. And you know, I think about that a lot. So, you know, it's definitely a good conversation starting movie. And if you like the teen angst, if you like high school movies, and you don't like the cop-out Hollywood ending, you know, something risky, then I think you'll definitely enjoy this film. Maybe not. Again, the ending, I don't know, I just thought it could have flowed better, or just something about it. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I'm calling the film a 7. You know, maybe 7.5, but I hate doing that. So I'll just call it a 7. So I've pretty much wrapped up. I don't know what else to say about it, other than I enjoyed it. It was a good teen dramedy. So that's the perks of being a Wallflower, and I'll give it a solid 7. Thank you very much.